Most people live as passengers in their own lives. They drift rather than drive. They exist rather than live. They react rather than design. But every so often a person stops, they pause, and they ask a rare question. What does it mean to build a meaningful life? That question is the foundation of everything we'll explore today. Not a life of surface-level success, but a life of depth, clarity, substance. A life that matters. What is a meaningful life? It isn't about fame, fortune, or fleeting pleasure. It's not what you own or how many people know your name. A meaningful life is one that is aligned, deeply, with your highest values. It's a life lived with purpose, with direction, with self-respect. And here's the truth most people avoid. A meaningful life must be built, not found. It does not appear overnight. It is not given to you. You must design it deliberately, brick by brick. Every architect begins with a blueprint. Before the first brick is laid, before the first nail is driven, there is vision. Clarity is the first cornerstone of a meaningful life. What do you want your life to stand for? What kind of man or woman do you want to become? If you don't define that dash, the world will define it for you. You'll become a mirror of noise, not a reflection of depth. So write it down, not someday, today. Write down what matters most to you. Make your values visible. They are your compass. And then, design your life around them. A building is not made of one grand gesture. It is made of many small actions, repeated daily. So it is with life. Your days are your bricks. Your habits are your tools. What you do consistently is who you become. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Wake early. Think deeply. Move intentionally. Speak kindly. If you do these small things with care, they will shape a life of great meaning. Every structure will be tested by storms. So will every soul. Pain is not the enemy of a meaningful life. It is often the engine of it. You will face loss, failure, setbacks, doubt. But let me remind you, steel is forged in fire. Adversity reveals what comfort conceals. It shows you what you truly believe. You don't grow strong in comfort. You grow strong in struggle. So welcome it. Use it. Let your storms shape you, not shatter you. A meaningful life is not rigid. It is alive, growing, evolving. The person you were 5 years ago, they are not who you are now. And that's good, because meaning is not a fixed point. It's a direction. Adjust as you grow. Reflect as you move. Refine your goals, your values, your voice. The great architect revisits the plan often. So should you. Knowledge deepens meaning. Curiosity feeds the soul. A stagnant mind builds a stagnant life, but a learning mind builds legacy. Read every day, not just headlines, books, wisdom. Ask questions, challenge your assumptions, expand your worldview. A meaningful life requires a wide lens and a humble heart. Never stop growing. Meaning expands when shared. We were not made to live isolated lives. We were made to connect, to serve, to contribute. The greatest fulfillment often comes from lifting others, not for recognition, not for praise, but because it makes us human. A meaningful life is not about what you accumulate. It's about what you offer. Be generous with your time, your presence, your love. In the end, what we give away is what we truly keep. When your story ends, what will remain? Not your car, not your title, not your money, but your example, your impact, your echo in the lives of others. That is legacy, and that is the ultimate measure of a meaningful life. A building may look strong from the outside, but if its internal frame is weak, it will fall. The same is true for your life. You can present success, strength, and even wisdom on the surface. But if you don't know yourself truly, the foundation is fragile. So I ask you, do you know your temperament, your emotional patterns, your triggers, your dreams? Do you know why you do what you do? Because meaning cannot exist in confusion. You must understand yourself in order to guide yourself. Self-knowledge is the invisible frame of your character. Without it, the structure collapses when tested. With it, you are anchored. You are not a fixed being. You are becoming. Every action, every thought, every habit is casting a vote, not for what you get, but for who you are. So the question is not, what do I want? The deeper question is, who do I want to become? Identity is the cornerstone of a meaningful life, because when you live from a strong identity, your actions follow. Your purpose aligns. Your life becomes coherent. And coherence is peace. So choose your identity deliberately. Don't let the world label you. You define you. Meaning is lost when life becomes fragmented. When you feel one thing, but say another. When you believe in something, but act against it. That internal dissonance, it drains your energy. It eats your self-respect. Meaning thrives on alignment. When your values match your actions, when your public life reflects your private beliefs, you become powerful, rooted, clear. This alignment is not easy. It requires honesty, discomfort, and courage. But the reward is priceless. A quiet mind, a strong spine, a life of integrity. We live in a world that never stops shouting. Notifications and opinions, urgencies, noise. And in that noise, many people forget the sound of their own thoughts. But if you want to build a meaningful life, you must make space for stillness, time without input, time to think, time to feel. Stillness is not emptiness. It's where clarity is born. The deepest truths do not shout. They whisper, and if you are always distracted, you will never hear them. So take a walk, sit in silence. Ask yourself real questions, and then listen. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Reflection is not a luxury. It is a tool, a mirror. When you reflect regularly, you notice patterns. You spot contradictions. You learn. Reflection lets you course correct while the cost is still low. You don't need to wait until your life collapses to make a change. You can notice early signs, if you're paying attention. So reflect often. Ask yourself tough questions. Write down the answers. Track your evolution. A meaningful life is not a straight line. It's a spiral, always circling back to learn more deeply. It is possible to build a great-looking life and still feel empty inside. Why? Because without gratitude, meaning evaporates. Gratitude is the practice of noticing, of seeing your life while you're living it. It doesn't make pain go away, but it reveals what's still good, even in hard seasons. Gratitude makes the present meaningful. It transforms the mundane into the sacred. It slows the pace of your mind. It brings you home to yourself. Each day, find something beautiful and say thank you. That single act, repeated daily, becomes a foundation of emotional wealth. Meaning does not always come from within. Sometimes it comes from above. Whether you call it God, the universe, the soul, or simply the sacred, there is something larger than us, and when you connect with that, life takes on a different shape. Your problems shrink, your courage grows, your suffering transforms. You are not just here to survive. You are here to serve, to grow, to wake up. A spiritual connection gives meaning to mystery. It gives suffering a frame and life a deeper pulse. Make time for this connection. Through prayer, meditation, silence, service, build not just a good life, but a soul-centered one. Some people spend their whole life searching for one grand purpose, and they miss the small, quiet ones that were there all along. Purpose is not always a lightning strike. Sometimes it's a match you strike every morning. To show up fully, to give your best, to live with kindness. Your grand purpose may unfold over time, but your daily purpose is here, now. It is to live with intention, to do the next right thing, to build the next strong brick. A meaningful life is not a finish line, it's a way of walking. So walk well, today and every day. You can build the perfect house, but if it has no doors or windows, it becomes a prison. So it is with life. Meaning must be shared, or it collapses in on itself. No person is an island. We are meant to connect, to give and receive, to be seen, and to see others. Think of the people who made your life better. A teacher, a parent, a friend, a stranger who showed you kindness at the right moment. That is impact. That is legacy. Not in headlines, but in hearts. And now ask, whose life will be better because I existed? That question is not pressure. It is a compass. We often chase success, but fulfillment comes from contribution. Success is what you take from the world. Contribution is what you give back. And here's the paradox. The more you give, the richer you become. When you help others grow, you grow. When you lift someone, you rise. Your time, your presence, your wisdom, they are more valuable than money and often more needed. Don't wait until you're ready. Give now, serve now. You don't have to save the world. Just show up with a generous heart. We are all threads in a much larger tapestry. Your life is not an isolated event. It is connected deeply to everything else. The people you help today will help others tomorrow. The courage you show now may echo across generations. But to feel that, you must zoom out. Don't just live in your goals. Live in your context. What are you part of? A movement? A mission? A lineage? Purpose expands when we step outside ourselves. Live like your life is part of something bigger, because it is. Most people avoid thinking about death. But the truth is, death gives life its meaning. The clock is ticking. And that's not morbid. That's motivating. You don't have time to waste. You don't have forever. And that's why today matters. Mortality sharpens your vision. It clarifies your priorities. It strips away the noise. So ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left, what would I stop doing? What would I start doing? Who would I become? Let death be your advisor, not your fear. It is the boundary that makes the picture clear. Many people delay meaning, waiting until they're perfect, until they have it all figured out. But perfection is a myth. It's a prison made of mirrors. You will never be flawless, and you don't need to be. Meaning does not require perfection. It requires presence. Show up even if you're unsure. Speak truth even if your voice shakes. Act with love even if you're still healing. A meaningful life is not a perfect one. It is an honest one, an intentional one. So stop waiting. Begin as you are. Life is not linear. It flows in seasons. There are times to build, times to rest, times to fight, times to let go. And each season brings a different kind of meaning. Don't expect summer's clarity and winter's silence. There are seasons of confusion, and those too are sacred. Seasons of loss, of rebuilding, of watching, not doing. Meaning is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers, keep going. Honor each season. Don't rush it. Don't resist it. Meaning grows when we live with life, not against it. When life feels overwhelming, start small. One good decision, one clear action, one step forward. That's how momentum begins. And momentum is magic. It compounds. It grows. Each small win stacks. Each small change ripples. Meaning is not a mountain you climb in one leap. It's a trail you walk, one mindful step at a time. And so don't focus on someday. Focus on today's choice. That's all you ever have, and it's all you need.